Hello viewers, welcome to another edition of your favorite program, Discovery in Education, brought to you by KID-AFAN Salonediscoveries with me, Hamza Toure. In today's edition of the program, we are here at the Milty Magai School for the Blind to talk to the principal of the school about the ongoing WASSCE examination. Follow us as we make more discovery on this.
Those teachers will be there when the children have the exams, and they will look into their needs, whatever they need, then we'll address it. But I can confess to you that with all my experience in visual impaired education, this year's exam is the most organized because of the decision of changing the venue, which now their venue is at the Milty Magai School for the Blind.
Okay. So then props to the Ministry of Education.
Yes.
Well, are there any suggestions that you would like to make? Because of course there's always room for improvement.
Of course. I would only suggest that in subsequent times we get assistance to provide us with more equipment so that our kids will no longer write their answers in Braille. You know, in this year's exams, we use the three-prong approach: typewriters, computers, and Braille. So if we have more typewriters, we will not have children using the Braille any longer, because computers is just the way out for the education of the blind in this country. Typewriters are phasing out. In fact, they phased out. We don't have people coming again to give us typewriters. What we have now are old machines and cannot do for the purpose at all. So if we have a lot of computers, then Braille or typewriters will be a thing of the past. And that is what I think as a country we have to work towards, getting each child a computer to get that child into active participation or competition with their sighted counterparts.
Okay. Interestingly enough, for one to use computer, one has to be a computer literate.
Yes,
are there any facilities for the students, should in case such computers are provided for them?
We do train them here on the use of the computer. So we expect that no sooner they receive the training and they get to JSS, those children should be able to use the computer if this is provided for them.
So you were talking about, of course, computer literacy. I mean, how efficient do you think that would be, for the students? How helpful do you think it would be in terms of preparing them for tertiary learning?
Well, in the past, when we used to have typewriters, we trained the pupils when they get to class 4. And so they have a thorough training getting to secondary school. So in the same vein, we are using that same knowledge we've been transferring to these kids in class 4 with the use of the typewriter now to computer, because we believe the only way out to having education for visually impaired kids, and particularly a school like this, which is the biggest and widest school for the blind in the country, that has educated a lot of kids and people who are now serving in very important institutions in the country and the world. We have to move the trend of our education to having computers. And that is one thing we are working towards now, that in the near future, all our kids are trained to use a computer, and eventually they should be able to own a computer themselves, because when you own it also, it helps you to learn it faster than if they just go to teach you in the computer lab and you abandon there until the next day.
Yeah, and of course, right now we are living in a digital age, in a world where computers are overtaking every aspect of our professional lives. And of course, it will be very important for them to get themselves abreast with computer work. And also, you made mention of the school being the biggest of the visually impaired schools in the country. Would you by any means like to shed more light on other schools, other visually blind schools in the country?
Well, I mean, for our school, I made that statement because this school was established in 1956, and that's 68 years ago. It tells you the kind of caliber of individuals it has educated in the past. A lot of them, all renowned blind people you see in the country, have come from the school. And because of that, it is a dream that after the introduction of the free quality education, we realized a lot of people, a lot of kids are coming in. And our boarding home is really, it's difficult for us to have more children of the nature anymore. So as a mother school to all other institutions, we have now got an organization that is helping us to construct another building, a bigger building, to widen the boarding home, and where children can now come to the school without being rejected. That is what we should do as a school. Our purpose is to provide education for the kids. I mean, it doesn't mean us good anyway if kids come here and they don't have space. I mean, but it will do us good if those kids come and then have enough spaces to live in the boarding home, who eventually will get their education. So the other schools in the provinces, yes, they are there. You have one in Makeni, Kabalabo, and Konok, Kenema. I mean, those are all born out of this school. I will tell you that the population and the structure of this school is not found in any of those schools. I mean, those are just smaller schools trying to come up. But the mark and the grade that this school has made so far, and particularly trying to expand the boarding home, trying to get more kids, because if we talk about radical inclusion and we talk about free education, all of these are things that we must work towards, leaving no child behind, ensuring that children get education, visually impaired education in particular, from this school. So this is one thing that we are trying to work towards, and I'm sure in the next few months, when that boarding home is completed, I mean, it will be fantastic for the school here.
Okay, and also, of course, when it comes to boarding homes, accommodation is one thing, but also you have to consider the well-being, especially in terms of provision for the students. How does the school fare with that?
It's a government school, and we just also say that we get support from other individuals, organizations, institutions. I mean, those support come in as whenever they're available. And so, I mean, if you heard me just now expanding the body home, it tells you that we are going to have more needs for the school. It tells you we are going to have more pupils, and more children have to be fed, more children have to be looked after. And it's going to really be a problem. But for us, we trust God, and we believe that the government of Sierra Leone will continue to provide, I mean, the necessary things for this institution to grow, and which they have been doing in the past, and we are very, very grateful to that. And for other individuals, organizations, institutions, not to forget the Milton Magasco for the Blind at 156 Wilkinson Road. I mean, your support goes a long way to educate these kids, because it is only when we are together, we get them education. That's the only time we are able to provide them the education. So the support goes a long way. We feed these children 3 times a day. We provide them learning materials. Those in secondary school, we take them to their various secondary schools, and we bring them again after school. So it means a lot. I mean, the expenditure rate that is incurred in this school is very, very, very high. But we believe that despite we are getting an expanded boarding home, yet we are still going to succeed to educate more visually impaired kids.
Thank you very much, Mr.
Thank you so much.
Well, viewers, that was the voice of the principal of the Milty Magai School for the Blind, Mr. Saliu Toure. Of course, he was telling us about the school, especially with regards to the WASSCE this year, how their students coped with the WASSCE, and of course, how the examination process went for them. Well, this is where we draw the curtain down for today's edition of the program. The program you've been watching is Discovery in Education, brought to you by KID-AFAN Salonediscoveries. On behalf of our executive producer, Dr. Aissatou Kake-Jallo, our camera operator, Mohamed Sky Bangura, I have been your presenter, Hamza Toure. We're saying peace and until we meet again.